Now let's get into today's conversation with Jen. So if you are in the dark right now and you're not sure which way is up, or maybe you've been coming out of a struggle and things are starting to come into focus again and you feel like you can finally breathe, today's episode is going to be just for you. But before we get in there, Jen, welcome to the show.
Hi, I am so excited to be here with you. I love your mission and I love how you help people. So I am so honored to be here with you.
Let's be human. So, like, I want to know what makes you sparkle.
Ooh, aromatherapy makes me sparkle. I think knowing that I'm making a difference, knowing that I can take everything that I've learned in this lifetime thus far and be that guiding light for other people. You know, when I've gone through some challenging times and some dark times, it was some pretty special people who lit the way for me, who were mentors and who inspired me and even just said a kind word to me that gave me a little bit of hope to know, just keep going, take another step. It's okay. Oh, you fell in a hole, get back up. Let's keep going. So I think it can be very tough. And, being able to be that light and to share that and stay in a positive environment is really important to me, to be able to do that. And then, of course, bringing in aromatherapy is, that the icing on the cake.
Yes. Jen and I talked a few weeks ago. We just had coffee chat and got to know each other as humans. And I have never seen someone light up and be so genuinely excited about like aromatherapy and what it really means and how it's not just like making things smell good or like you're feeling, but like from like the inside out transformation of it. And so like I know that there is, because I know there's a previous version of myself that would have heard you say, like, oh, I love aromatherapy, and had been like that internal cringe of like, oh, she's about to sell me on something. And I just want to like give that person space to feel that way and also let you know that when this woman says she loves aromatherapy, it's not a sales pitch. Like it is literally from the inside out changed her entire life and way of being. And so like when she says it, it really comes from that like place from within. And I think it is so cool when we get to take things that have like truly changed and impacted our life and learn everything there is to know about it and then go out and like share that to help other people through their hard and dark times. I just think that's so cool.
And it's funny that you say that because that's actually a weakness of mine. And not really, because I don't sell anything. What I sell is belief in yourself, finding what lights you up and finding why you're not lit up. I think that's actually the root more so of what lights me up is I love being an investigator. I love being resourceful. I love puzzles and figuring things out. And let's figure out why you're not lit up. And that's the power of why I love aromatherapy so much is because, I look at the oils like people, they all have a personality. They always have a good day, which is really nice, but they can light up parts of your personality too. So, I think that's really important is more so with anything that you do with any health modality or service or product or anything that you do it should help you find pieces of yourself that maybe you forgot or maybe that were lost and keep you lit up and so you can be you all day long.
I'm really curious what that really means. So like when you shared that like it helps you find pieces of you, like what does that mean? What is your experience around that, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, from personal experience, I always teach from personal experience. I think when I feel lost, I know lately has been a challenge because I'm part caretaker of my parents and still trying to run a full-time business, several businesses at once. it's hard to switch hats and to not let one affect the other. And the thing that I love about oils is, I'll use an example. Orange essential oil, for example, is really good for adrenal exhaustion. It's really good when you feel lost, when you feel that you can't see your path, you're exhausted, you're burned out, you're tired. Maybe that's the root culprit. So finding pieces of yourself, when you smell a scent, it can tell you, whether, if you like it or not. It can tell you if you're open to working on whatever that's going to bring up. And then the thoughts and emotions that that scent brings up is what you need to work on right now. That's either fueling you or hindering you. Because, when we think of our health, most people, they work on what's broken, what's not working. I have all of these issues, I have all of these symptoms, but we forget to support what's right, what's strong. So aromatherapy works on both at the same time, and you don't even have to know what they are. It's just going to do it automatically. So when you smell a scent and you decide, oh, I'm smelling orange, I love it. Okay, whatever that oil does, it's going to work for me. Now, I know the personality of orange. It's creative. It taps into that playful side when you're too serious. It's either going to keep you there or help you get there. The
This
feelings that,
is so fun.
yeah. Oh my gosh,
Like
I know.
you,
So
like
welcome to my
I
world.
feel like you're talking directly to me right now. Like we're just having our own conversation and there's no one else here with us, like listening, because one of my favorite oils to put in my diffuser is the tangerine.
Yes.
Like
Nice, nice.
it
Yeah.
hands down, like even if I choose something else, there is always a drop of tangerine that goes in it. Like I enjoy it, brings me a sense of just like a big warm buzzy hug, and I don't know, I feel alive and I feel comforted and like I centered.
Tangerine is huge for that. And you think about orange and tangerine, they're very similar, but orange is going to work more on the adrenal side. Tangerine, I use a lot for PTSD. It's going to go a little bit deeper, but be more gentle. So if
Who
we
knew they
had to
were
put
different?
labels, they are. Tangerine's going to be more of an introvert. Sweet orange is going to be more of an extrovert. So you think about, if you need to be more extroverted, you need a little bit more orange. But if you want to, like, oh, okay, I need to learn my words, I need to quiet my mouth, I need to take a step back, then you want to do tangerine to kind of like take it down a notch. But it's going to go deeper. It's going to make you go inward, right? Orange helps you come outward, an outward expression. Use your words, be creative, verbalize, write. But if you need to go inward, I need silence. I need to go in and listen. What is my gut telling me? What is my inner voice telling me? I can't hear it right now. That's why tangerine is really important. And I love to incorporate that in the morning and for meditations and journaling, because it helps you tap into maybe some drama and trauma that's happened in your life, but not so bad, not so painful. And, that's how you tap into sides of yourself. That's how you tap into find, okay, what's going to light me up? Where are the blocks? What's going to open up the blocks, but not too much. So if you were to pour like 20 drops of tangerine in your diffuser, it might be a little much. One drop does go a long way, especially when we're looking at emotional healing. But I love that. And I would encourage you to maybe find another oil to pair that with. Like if you were to pair that with, and it was to have a partner, what oil would that be? And so you can smell
I
all of your
usually add
oils.
it to it's like a cedar wood something. I don't know if it's a cedar lavender mix or something, but like I enjoy the scent, but it's a little too harsh. It like hits me in a weird way. And so like the orange for whatever reason like makes it a little bit more palatable and like fresh and soothing, and I feel like the house is like ready for success. That's such a weird thing to say, but like I guess that's really the feeling. Um yeah, or a peppermint. I just enjoy those, which is such a strange pairing too when I think about it. Like Orange and peppermint. Who would do that? But I guess I do.
It's yummy. I do it all the time. It's yummy. So I'm also an aromatherapy intuitive. So I have intuitions coming in. Do you want to hear them?
Yes.
Okay. So with the cedar wood is very grounding. It helps you find your inner strength. But because you're liking the tangerine, you own your power, but there's still a disconnect. You almost feel selfish for being strong. You almost compensate. You're a very strong, confident woman with the right intentions, doing the right things with the right service. But there are some people that don't do that. And you overthink it, trying to think, I don't want to be that person. I want to be this person. So you kind of compensate for your strength. And I think as women, I think a lot of us do that. We think, we're called one thing when a guy would be called something else. We may have another label, but that's not true. It just means we're confident and we're passionate about what we believe in, and we do have strengths and we do have confidence, and that's okay. But the cedarwood coming up is trying to say, Tiffany, stand in your power. And you're like, okay, but I'm only going to stand in my power 70%. I'm not
This
going
is
to stand
so,
because then
so
people are going to
fun.
think I'm intimidating and overpowering and overwhelming and that
Or
B
thinking
word.
this is I can tell you exactly what the thought is there, but I just talked about it online yesterday, which is that like my biggest fear in it like is that someone is going to think that my ambition and that my way of doing life means that I think that I'm better than them, which is like the furthest from which is the furthest from the truth. But it's like my biggest fear stepping into like in really owning my authentic self and like what I'm doing in this world is those people who are getting left behind because I'm going a different place than they are. And their words saying that like you just think you're better than everyone else. If we could all just be like Tiffany and be so perfect and have so much drive and wake up with sunshine and rainbows. And it's like almost like that, like having to defend yourself that like you think that just because I see sunshine and rainbows and choose to believe that even the shitty days are happening for me rather than against me means that I think I'm better than you. And so I just,
Egos stepping up. And first off, I feel the same way. So it's so serendipitous that we're having this conversation because it's something I'm working through right now. My big thing, and this is my year, just to have grace for myself, to be grounded and have resilience and live authentically with connection, and embody myself. That's what grace stands for me. But in order to do that, I have to release the people pleasing, because the people pleasing actually is feeding my ego. By people pleasing, I am giving my power away. I'm self sacrificing. And if you think of the word, selfish, I'm being selfish. You're being self, you're being authentic. And that's, something that's really important for us to remember. But also, you take away people's choice to come with you. And that's something
100%.
that I'm practicing. I'm not perfect at it, but this is the place of where I'm at in my life right now is I have so much to give. God is using me so powerfully. And if I'm taming that service and I'm taming that mission and I'm taming my love and my light to please others, nobody wins. And it's pleasing them, but they're not in their authentic self, so it's not real, it's not true. And some people are meant, we've heard the saying, some people are meant to be in our lifetime for a short time and some are meant to be there for the long haul. And I'm surprised when I grow as an intuitive, as a professional, as a human being, when I grow, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm in this whole new world. And then new people come in that speak this crazy language. And then I do have a moment where I think, ooh, but what about these people? Well, if I'm my authentic self, they're going to love me no matter what. And that's how I know I have great relationships. But sometimes not everybody comes along on that journey. They get to choose, not you. And so
Yes.
I'm a fixer. I'm a caretaker. I'm a peacemaker. I come in and make everything right, but that takes other people's opportunity away of being their own hero. I'm who I am today because I've got to be my own hero. And that's my wish for other people, is to recognize how to be your own hero. And then of course I use aromatherapy as the medium to reinforce that calibration to that power. But we have the right to be strong. God has made us strong. And if we're stepping into that power, it's our right and our duty to ourselves to lead. Because I tell you, you and I have connected because of your strength. Now, I find I see my strengths in you. And so you help me strengthen my strengths, and you're helping me strengthen my weaknesses to stay in my strength. So you're kind of my essential oil. You're in your own essential oil blend. But this is how we cultivate relationships, and we have real relationships. If you're having a relationship with a people pleaser or somebody who doesn't light you up, who steals your light and steals, your passion, it's not good for either one of you. You're enabling them to continue. And sometimes we have to be that force to say, listen, no, no, you can see me as being an ego, or you can see me as being a bitch, or you can see me as being whatever you
I
want.
can be the villain in your story. That's fine.
But you know what? I'm also, I'll be that villain, but I'm also going to be your biggest cheerleading person. I'm going to be your villain that's like, hooraying you when you take a step and you reach a milestone and you become the person you're meant to be. If you want to ruminate over here in the negativity, you can do that. I'm just not going to let you stay there. So I'm going to show you the way. You can come with me, or you can stay. You can stay there. It's okay. But I'm going to keep going, because there's other people on this journey that I need and that need me. And
My
I think
cheeks hurt from smiling so big right now. If you're listening audibly, you can go check us out, go over to YouTube and find the episode and be here with us, like face to face. And if you are, like, you can see that I've just been sitting here with this, like, almost like this shit eating grin over here. Cause like, I, we started like, if you're in the dark or if you're coming out of that struggle, like, how do you know if you're on the right path and what it is for and all the things? And one thing that I know to be certain, and like this has become so crystal clear in the last like year and a half of me truly owning my future, mm, is that there's no such thing as coincidences. That everything, whether you believe in God, the universe, whether you are completely agnostic, it does not matter. There is a force that is bigger than you that you can't deny. And so, whatever you want to call it or ignore to it, like that's okay. But everything is divinely timed, because there is no way, there's no way that you and I are having this very unplanned conversation on this topic when when yesterday I talked about how I wanted to make sure everyone felt included on the path that I was going on, but that I had to understand that like I'm just going somewhere different, and I'm going epic places, and you can't be epic with media, like do epic shit with mediocre people. And that doesn't mean anything about me or them. We're just going to different destinations, and that it's my job to step into like that hero. You said hero, and I said it yesterday. Like, it's my job to step into the hero role of my own life and pave a path and a vision for other people to maybe feel inspired by or not, to allow them to become the hero in their life a little easier than it was for myself. Not to save them, not to drag them along, not to try to like give them a future that they never asked me to help them with, but to just lead my own way in my own examples. And then they get to choose if they come on the path or if they stay exactly where they are. And as that distance grows, that's not my responsibility to close the gap. It's either for them to come with or for them to choose to stay where they're at because they're okay with it. And then just last night, I was on a call and we talked about like the hero's journey and how when you're talking about yourself and you're leading from the front, like there really are only three roles in any story: the hero, the villain, and the guide. And if you are in your wholehearted, heart-centered way trying to help someone, but painting yourself as the hero, well, obviously they're not the guide because they don't know where to go yet. So they can't guide themselves there. They already have the thing. So you're only leaving a space for them to be the villain in their own life. And like that doesn't work either. And so like by us being the hero in our lives, we allows us to become a guide in someone else's, but not the hero of their own story.
Right.
And I like there's no such thing as coincidences. Like the divine timing brought you and I to this moment to have this conversation based off of the interactions that we've been having, to be talking the same language. And so like when you're coming out of that dark for you, Jen, because it happens to all of us. It doesn't matter how aware you are and how hero mode you are and how like it's all working for me. Like there are hard days, there's hard
Yes.
seasons. How do you work through that in knowing which path you're going to take moving forward?
The answer today is a lot different than when I was younger. And something that I've learned is that you have to ask for help. And so and that's why it's really important to build an inner circle and to build friends who love you for who you are right now. And I don't people please with these people. They have seen the good, the bad, the ugly. Some are newer in my inner circle in the past year, and some have been in my inner circle for close to 50 years. So I think number one, it's about asking for help or going to your friends. Hey, I'm having a rough day today. Tell me something good, right? If you don't know how to ask for help, then just ask for something good. Hey, can you share something good? Can you share inspiration? I have one friend who sends me, on the phone once a week. It's her thankful Thursday. She sends me a positive quote. She'll go into the gifts in the phone and find some inspirational thing or a pretty picture or a pretty flower and just puts, have a nice day with it. Sometimes it's little splashes like that. So, I think it's really important if you recognize that to be honest and let people know, hey, I'm having a tough day. Tell me something good. Tell me something. It doesn't even have to be good. Just tell me something. And then something else that I learned in this past year is you make your badass list. You make a list of everything that you've done that you're happy about, that you love about yourself. It can be an accomplishment, it can be awards, it could be, conquering projects, but it can also be things that light you up. So I do a meditation walk every morning. I'm fortunate to have some property with them beautiful oak trees. And so I do a walk with my dogs every morning. And, I start off with gratitude. And then I say my prayers. And then I say my affirmations. I am strong. I am confident. I'm resourceful. I'm loved. I'm valued. I'm needed. I'm wanted. I love myself. And then I name things that I love about myself. And if I need a little bit more, I'll go back to my badass list and say, "Oh, okay, let me boost my ego a little bit just to
Remind
connect."
myself of what I'm capable of and who I am for a minute.
Yes. And it's not even that ego. You're right. It's about I'm capable, I'm able, I'm resourceful. I can find my way out of this. But I might too, I might need to ask a friend to hold the flashlight for me. And as a friend, I have to know, when do I hold the flashlight and when do I like hold their hand while holding the flashlight to say this way. And that also helps me when I ask my friends, I just need you to hold the flashlight so I can find my way. I really need you to hold my hand and the flashlight and walk me in the direction I need to go. And I think having that open communication, and I know what my friends need. They teach me how to help them and I teach them how to help me. And that builds relationships. For my husband, it builds our relationship on how we communicate. I know what to do for him when he's having a bad day. He knows to do what to do for me. But again, it's asking for help, and it's the outward and inward. You go outward and ask for help, but then you go inward. So it's the orange tangerine together, that you blend together, that yeah, I am strong. I am capable. This is a moment. This darkness is a moment. The sun will rise. Tomorrow it's going to rise in just a few minutes. Whatever it is, the sun is going to come out. And maybe there is a power of the pause. One of my big epiphanies last year was to embrace the pause, the power of the pause. We're taught to
Love a
keep
good
going,
pause.
multitask, go, 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 give, give, give. We're exhausted, we keep giving, and then we burn ourselves out, and then we're going from a empty minus 100-degree tank, and then that feeds nobody. And sometimes we have to pause. That's why we rest. That's why we should be sleeping. You can, be hell on wheels in the daytime, but you need to be asleep in the nighttime so your body can recover. That rest and restoration and recovery can happen so you can keep going tomorrow. And it's an integrative approach. We do the things, we support our bodies and our minds in the daytime with the healthy habits, but then we have a good social network, that's going to help us. And then we listen, we go inward and we listen. There's so many times last year I went against my gut. And I'm a gut specialist. I'm a gut and an intuitive specialist. And I went against my gut last year. And I thought this year I'm not going to do that. And coming out of this dark, I've been in a little rough place lately. And coming out of that, I realized I was making this harder than it was. And I just need to listen, but I need to pause to listen. I need to only
Mhm.
surround myself by the strong forces that light me up and remind me that I'm strong and confident. So I think everybody's going to have a different approach. That's my approach. If you can take one thing away from that and just implement one thing as you're listening to this, maybe it's the meditation, and it's just I'm connected with myself. You imagine roots coming out and grounding to the center of the earth. And for me, I take those roots back up into the heavens and outward. And then I take all of my roots and all of my being and just wrap everybody up in this love and light, so they feel loved. I want to feel loved and valued and appreciated and wanted and seen and heard. And I want others to feel that too. And that's how I do it. And then I'm connecting to that energy. And if that's the only thing you do in the morning, great. If you want to add affirmations in, even better. If you want to smell oils while you're saying your affirmations to reinforce that energy, even better.
There's something powerful about having anchors so that in the moment, like
Yes.
oils, like a scent can be an anchor where you like channel it in, you lock it in, and then like in
Mhm.
the moment, it's just like a waft. And all of a sudden, you're
Yep.
like right back to that moment. And it's so, so powerful. Another thing, as you were talking, I was like over here nodding, like, yes, yes, yes. Something else that I have trained myself, and I'm very specific in the way I share that because it takes practice to do things differently than you've done them before.
Mhm.
And so one of the things I've trained myself is like when it feels too much and I feel lost and I feel like it's off track and it's like, and I start to have that like, why is this happening to me? Like, when's enough moment? It's
Yes.
that moment to trigger myself to like pause and take a step back and go, what is it that I actually want? What is that destination that I'm not at in this moment? And then working backwards of like, okay, where am I now? What would have to change for me to get there? And then allowing myself to figure out the steps that way. Because sometimes it's like a matter of rearranging a calendar and all of a sudden everything's fine, or asking for help, or changing buckets. Like there's so many little variables, but when you're in it, everything just feels like a dumpster fire. And you're like, what is happening to me? Am I even on the right path? I thought I was supposed to listen to this nudge, but here we are and nothing's better. And like you start hyperventilating. It's just me. Um, and it's like, oh, well, what is it that I'm seeking? Like, what don't I have right now that would bring me peace? Okay, well, what do I actually have to do differently to get that? And then it's what am I doing right now that's preventing and blocking me from that? So we can remove things before we add more. And I have found that to be so successful over the last like 5 years. And every time I practice it, it's just like that, like just fine tuning how I do it and how quickly I can move through those moments compared to before.
And it's understanding all that, but what's the driving force that's keeping you in momentum, feeling exhausted, going after if and I love that you said when is enough enough. I ask myself that a lot. And when I take on a lot of projects and do a lot of things, sometimes my husband asks me that questions. When is enough enough? Like, okay, you cannot fit one more thing on your schedule. And so I do. I'm like, when is enough enough right now? I'm honest with myself right now. If I'm feeling this right now, enough is enough. Why am I doing this? What is the driving force? And when you asked me earlier, how does aromatherapy help us tap into and find that? That's where scent is so powerful because when you smell an oil at that moment, when I'm at this point, enough is enough. Let me smell an oil. If I like it, it tells me I'm ready to work on whatever that's going to do. If I don't like it, it's telling me that's a very deeply hidden block
Mm.
that I need to address. So I'm not ready right now to do that, but let me journal about it. Let me find an oil I do like, and then let me journal about that topic of whatever that is. And so when you smell an oil at that moment, whatever person, thought, place, event, situation, emotion, anything that comes up, these scent triggered memories and emotions that come up, that's what you want to pay attention to because that's your driving force. And is it people pleasing or is it for your betterment? Is it to keep you in momentum, reaching your full potential, serving with your love and your light? It's so, so important
This
to
has
do
been
that.
so good. This has been so, so, so good. I would love to hear your takeaways, your aha moments, what came up for you. Drop it in the comments below wherever you are listening or watching us. Like you're here a part of this conversation. We set intentions. You don't know this, but before I record every episode, I set intentions with our guests about like what do we want our listener who we're recording this for and being here? Like, how do we help them feel a part of this conversation? And what are we hoping that they're going to get out of today's conversation? And so feel free to like comment below. We're here with you. How do people connect with you outside of the show?
Yeah, so my company is JennScents. So you can hop over to JennScents.com and you can hit the contact. You can explore all the different services, the classes and the services that I offer and stay connected with me. And I too, I'm excited to read the comments on this episode to see where you are. I think I love that you have this space here where we can be open and honest and vulnerable because this is how we learn. This is how we support each other. So if you're interested in adding the aromatherapy, side to that, I would love to be, the guide and helping you continue that part of your journey.
This has been so juicy. I have so many of my own little nuggets over here that just I'm gonna walk away from this episode with. So as we wrap up today, is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to touch on today, or any final words of wisdom you would like to leave with us?
Yeah, one of my mottos is be stronger than what's holding you back. And that has been a motto of mine for, gosh, probably 5, 6 years now. Be stronger than what's holding you back. And in those moments when I feel lost or disconnected or overwhelmed and I'm at my breaking point, okay, this is enough. what what's holding me back from being organized, laser focused, strong, confident, not burned out, right? Full of energy, full of light, and all of my being and all of my potential, where I can go in the day and still go and rest in the evening. What is holding me back from that? Because I'm stronger than that. But sometimes we don't think we're strong because we don't stop and pause and listen. And we think we don't have time to stop and pause and listen, but you don't have time not to. If you keep going and going like this, you will crash, and it's not going to be pretty, and nobody wins then. And then you're going to have a longer road of recovery. But what if we just say, it's right when you're working on a project, you should walk away. If you're stuck at a spot, walk away for 5 minutes and come back. You need to do that with your emotions too. So I would love to challenge you to journal about you're stronger than what's holding you back. So maybe just do a brain dump in your journal of what do you think is holding you back? Emotions, thoughts, limiting beliefs, perceptions that are keeping you. And sometimes they're real barricades. Sometimes they're real things you can't change. Still write them down. Because, okay, so you can't change those, but how can you change your behavior and reaction to it? How can you adjust your being to coexist with that? It's just like grief. You never get over grief. You coexist with it. So if we have challenges in our life, how can we coexist and still be our powerful self doing that?
So, so, so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing your life, your journey, what's working for you with us today here on Two Humans Talking. And with that, that is Two Humans Talking, and I will see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this episode as inspiring and actionable as I did. If you're ready to stop just surviving and start living a life where your health, your relationships, and your career work together without the burnout, then it's time that you join the Modern Women's Society. Inside, I'll walk you through my life GPS system, a proven blueprint to help you have it all while thriving. You'll gain tools, coaching, and the kind of clarity that brings big dreams to life without the stress, overwhelm, guilt, and shame that the modern woman is used to. We're going to create a life where you feel energized and excited to wake up every day and fulfilled when you put your head on the pillow. Click the link below to learn more and join countless other women who are redefining success on their terms. Because the life you've dreamed about is closer than you think. I'll see you on the inside.